It started with the wrong number, just a simple mistake. I was tired, stressed, trying to call a friend after work. I misdialed by one digit, and when someone picked up, I almost hung up right away. Hello, it was a woman's voice, soft, a little surprised, but calm. I said, "Oh, sorry, I think I dialed the wrong number." There was a short pause. Then she said, "That's okay, happens all the time." I was about to say goodbye, but something in her voice made me stay. It wasn't what she said, it was how she said it. Gentle, warm, like someone who hadn't spoken to anyone in a while. I looked nervously and said, "Well, now that I've got you here, how's your day going?" I expect her to hang up, but she didn't. He actually answered. Honestly, she said, "It's been quite lonely, maybe, but talking to someone new, that's kind of nice." Her honesty surprised me and somehow comforted me. We ended up talking for 10 minutes about nothing really. The weather in Chicago, how tired I was from work. She asked if I liked coffee or tea. I told her both, but only with too much sugar. She looked. It felt nice. Before I hung up, I asked her name. She said, "My name's Evelyn." I smiled. "Nice to meet you, Evelyn. I am Liam." That was supposed to be the end. Just a small mistake. An accidental call. A quiet, kind moment. But something in me didn't want to let it go. The next day, I called her again. She picked up right away. "You again?" she said, with a smile in her voice. I looked. I figured, if I am going to keep calling the wrong number, I might as well make it worth your time. That's how it began. One call turned into 2, then 4, then 10. We start talking almost every night. Sometimes for 15 minutes, sometimes for an hour. She told me about her garden, the one she hadn't touched in months. How she used to love baking, how she missed music, how the world felt a little quieter since her husband passed. I told her about my job, my apartment that always felt too small, my friends who we are always busy, how sometimes I felt invisible. She didn't try to fix anything. She just listened, and I listened too. And together, it felt like we are holding each other's stories in the dark. Some nights we talked about the little things, what we ate, what we watched, what made us laugh that day. But other nights we went deeper. Evelyn told me about her husband, Jack. They were married for 28 years. He passed away 3 years ago, a sudden heart attack. She said, grief doesn't come all at once. It shows up in the small things, like two coffee cups, when you only need one. I didn't know what to say, so I just said, I am sorry. She paused, then whispered, thank you for listening. Sometimes that's all we need. Not someone to fix us, just someone to be there. I started to feel like she knew me better than anyone else. Even though we'd never meet, she never judged me, never rushed me. I could tell her things I didn't tell my closest friends. Like how I was scared it'd never be enough. How I hated silence, but feared noise. How sometimes I felt like I was fading. And every time I opened up, she responded with something soft, something kind. Like, you are not fading, you are becoming. I don't know how she did it, but her words stuck in my chest like warmth I didn't know I needed. One night, she said, you know, it's funny how strangers can feel safer than people we've known for years. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. I think I said, we are never a stranger. We both went quiet for a long time, but it wasn't awkward. It felt like peace. Eventually, I asked her something I'd never asked before. Evelyn, can I meet you in person? She was silent, longer than usual. Then she said, gently, not yet. I didn't push, even though I wanted to. I just said, okay, I will wait. And she whispered, I know. It was a Wednesday night, same time as always. I picked up my phone and called her. It rang once, twice, 3 times. No answer. Okay, maybe she was asleep. Maybe she forgot. No big deal, right? But something in my chest tightened. The next night, I tried again. Still nothing. The silence on the other end felt loud, like the whole world was holding its breath. I told myself not to overthink, that people get busy, phones die, things happen. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. I didn't have her address. I didn't know her last name. She was just Eleanor. From the other end of the phone, and suddenly she was gone. I can't explain it, but that night the quiet hurt more than I expected. I missed her look, her stories, even the way she would hum before saying goodbye. I never knew I could feel this close to someone without ever meeting them. But I did. And when she didn't answer, it felt like I'd lost something important, something real. Three days later, I saw it, a voicemail from her. My hands were shaking when I pressed play. Hey Liam, Sorry, I didn't answer. I was in the hospital. Her voice was soft, like she was trying to sound strong, but couldn't quite hide the tiredness. Don't worry, I am okay. Just a little tired. That's all. She tried to look. That little look I always looked forward to. But it was faint, and it broke a little at the end. She didn't say what happened, didn't explain anything, just left that short message and told me she'd call again soon. I replied it again and again. It felt like holding a memory that could slip away at any moment. I wanted to call her right back. I wanted to ask, "Are you really okay?" But I didn't. I just waited. A few days later, she called me again. Her voice was still kind, still her, but something felt different. She didn't look as much. She spoke slower, like every word took a little more effort. I asked, "Are you okay?" She said, "I am just slowing down a little, that's all." I tried to smile, even though she couldn't see it. Then I said, "Maybe I could come visit you." She was quiet, just for a second. Then she replied, "Not yet, but thank you, Liam." And then she said something you'll never forget. "I can still hear the smile in your voice. That's enough for me, right now." I smiled again, but this time it was with tears in my eyes. Something began to change. I could feel it, even through the phone. Her voice got softer, her pauses longer, and sometimes she just didn't sound like herself. One night I asked her, "Is everything okay? Really okay?" She looked, but it felt forced, not real. Like she was hiding something behind her smile. She said, "Oh Liam, you asked too many questions." Then she changed the subject. I didn't push. I didn't want to scare her away. I told myself, if she wanted to tell me, she would. But deep down, it hurt. Because sometimes the things we don't say are the ones that stay with us the longest. Days passed. No call, no message. The silence felt heavy, like something was wrong. Then one morning, there was a letter in my mailbox. It was from Evelyn. Inside, she had written me a goodbye. She said thank you for the logger, for the late night talks, for being there when she felt most alone. And then she told me the truth. She was dying She had cancer, and she didn't want me to carry that pain while we talked. She said she didn't tell me because those calls were her escape, a place where she could feel alive again. And now she was saying goodbye, the only way she knew how. Inside the envelope, there was also a small USB drive. I plugged it into my computer. There was one file, a voicemail from Evelyn. Her voice came through the speakers. It was soft but clear and full of warmth. She said, "Hi Liam, if you are hearing this, I guess I couldn't say goodbye in person. But I wanted you to know, you were my light in the dark. You gave me love when I had tears. You gave me friendship when I felt invisible. I didn't feel alone anymore because of you. Thank you for making me feel alive again. I will always carry your voice in my heart." The message ended, but her words stayed with me. I didn't just lose her voice on the other end of the phone. I lost someone who understood me, someone who cared. A few days later, I went to the park she once told me about. She said it was her favorite place. Quiet, peaceful, where the sun always felt warm on her face. I found the bench. It was just like she described. Old, wooden, but full of life, just like her. I sat down and placed a small bunch of white flowers beside me. Then I opened her letter and I read it out loud. To the trees, to the wind, to her. Thank you, Evelyn, for every word, for every smile, for every night you stayed on the phone, just so I wouldn't feel alone. You changed my life without even trying. Then I looked up at the sky. The wind was moving gently. The sun was warm, just like she said it would be. And I whispered, "Goodbye, Evelyn. I will never forget you." Some nights, I still pick up my phone and dial her number. I know she won't answer, but I do it anyway. I close my eyes and I hear her voice in my head. "Hey Liam, how was your day?" She always sounded like she cared, like she was really listening. And even now, when the line is silent, I still talk. I tell her about my day, about the little things, about the memories we shared. It's strange, isn't it? How someone we never met in person can live in your heart forever. Evelyn wasn't just a voice on the other end. She was a friend, a guide, a light. When everything felt dark, I miss her. But I know she's still with me, somewhere in the wind, somewhere in the stars. Thank you, Evelyn, for answering my heart. Thanks for watching, guys.